Yeah, hello and welcome back to the second episode, guys. And today we won't take the train and skip this sequence and start right now with the first suggestion from Crazy Cat Mary. She's one of the best content creators that I had ever met. It is a pleasure for me to create this enclosure for you today, Miri. Her idea was a desert enclosure for the Albertosaurus in combination with rock arches. Yeah, so far so good, and now I started with the terrain editing. I decided to build this enclosure near the beach because I had already built a mountain here before and the desert enclosure was suitable for this place. And I wanted to have a few interesting mountain shapes for the edge but I had no idea what I'm doing here. Then I thought about how big is the enclosure or should be, is there enough space or not? In any case, I made the habitat a little bit smaller afterwards. Then I thought, how looks a desert enclosure? I know, we need sand for the desert, I know, and desert rocks and cactus, but this is the point to figure it out. And so I built spontaneously again and crossed my fingers myself. Hopefully it is suitable and good, and I hope that Crazy Cat Mary loves her suggestion and my interpretation of this, but I'm sure that isn't a full accident now. Then I thought, how about much water I can include in the habitat, and thinking about afterwards how I create a small oasis later here, and then I also working on the terrain with the sand and the rock brush tool. And it's not always easy on the tropical map to mix it up, but I think in this case here it looks deserty like enough. And so I mix it up a lot with sand and a rock look, and so I hope it goes in the right direction. Then I take the desert rocks and thought about it, how I can create a rock archway and other some interest shapes with the rocks. I know it looks controversy and abstract now on this point, but yeah, it's not too easy to build a rock archway, but it's a nice challenge, why not? I know it looks controversial, I know, but wait a little bit, I figure it out. Then I decided for me to build only one rock arch, because the dinosaurs cannot walk under rocks, and this is the problem. And I think the Albertosaurus needs space for rooming, and so we have one eye catcher in the middle of the enclosure and a nice oasis by sides, and I think that's enough for this habitat. I know I could do a lot more with the different rocks, and if you take your time, you can build real works of art with them. To be honest, I love being creative, but I'm not a person who wants to spend hours per hours of working on an enclosure. You know what I mean? I think the rocks here on this point are still enough. I didn't want to have many objects in the habitat because there are still a lot of palm trees and other plants coming, and I want the dinosaurs to be able to move around a bit. I will place a lot of more rocks on the edge of the habitat later in the time-lapse here. And when I'm designing something, I want it to feel organic and be a natural flow of building. And I don't like this feel with struggling in building, and sometimes less is more. And it is important to have a balance with the details. Funny that I say this now, because with the second suggestion I totally freak out with the rocks. But you will see this afterwards at the suggestion here from Miri. And then later I place a lot of cactus and palm trees, and I like the balance between the colors of this sandy look here with the orange and the green. And yeah, so I think it looks nice, and I don't want the habitat to appear too dry. I hope the balance is okay, so with the vegetation and the rocky and desert look. Afterward, that I will place a viewing observation log inside the enclosure, and I want this observation gallery to be well integrated into the landscape. I will also create further off-screen some options later so that the guest can look into the enclosure through glass windows from the upper elevation. But you see this when I'm finished with the enclosure and the showcase with the Albertosaurus. And then after that I will place a few more details with few skeletons and a small nest with dinosaur eggs, and then I will cover the edges of the enclosure with a lot of rocks. And voila! This is my interpretation of a desert habitat for a very nice dinosaur. Miri, I hope I'm on point with your taste and created a beautiful home for your favorite dinosaur. You wanted a dino with a leopard print, and here you have your Albertosaurus. And that is so a nice color combination. That fits so good with this environment, and that's a good choice. I like it. I had a lot of fun with building this enclosure for you, and it's always a great challenge to implement your suggestions, guys. As I said, I also want to take enough time to implement each idea well, and so I will try to implement 3 suggestions in every episode. And I also think it's great that the suggestions are very different, and I'm really excited to see what this park will look like in a few months. And Miri, as you can see, here is your favorite dinosaur with a fantastic skin, and I named your dinosaur after you. And I think he had a beautiful home, and he has enough eat and drink possibilities and a nice oasis and so on, in a nice place for rest, and have a nice dinosaur nest and so on. And yeah, I think that's still enough, and that's fine for the Albertosaurus. And yeah, I think that is a very great enclosure for a carnivore, and I like the natural barriers without fences, and so I think it looks more natural, and yeah, I like natural barriers. Okay, I repeat myself, sorry. So I also think it's very nice to combine the different trees here, as you can see that we have in-game and official in the game, and to combine the trees and bushes with each other and create an individual habitat with them. I know I have a special mod that allows me to use the different trees and grasses and bushes from each biome. I know that modding is not so nice for every people, or it is controversial, but I think my interpretations with the designing of the different enclosures can still be inspiring, and yeah, why not? So, okay, enough of stupid talking from me. And so we enjoy the last moments, and we can watch a little bit the Albertosaurus and enjoy the overview, and then we come to the second suggestion from Kayo. And now we are starting with Kayo's suggestion, and he wanted an enclosure with caves. But the problem is with the caves, you can build some with a lot of rocks, but unfortunately the dinosaurs or the other creatures can't walk into the caves, and so I spontaneously changed my mind. His favorite comes from a different era, and so I wanted to design an abstract enclosure. I thought how it looks the Permian time era, and so I experimented with the rocks and the vegetation, and that you can see in the time-lapse shot. Kayo voted for the Dimetrodon, and it is a pleasure for me to build your enclosure for there. I thought about what the Permian period might have looked like. So I'm going to be wild with the rock formations, as you can see. But first things first, we need a lot of water for the Dimetrodon, and then is the rock part coming. I wanted to use the dark tropical rocks at the first, but then I decided spontaneously for the other rocks I'm going to use the lagoon platform rocks, as you can see later, so create the natural barriers later with there. But first I'm going to use the decorations from the lagoon, and I like these rock arch here from the decoration set to imitate abstract rock formations with this, and I want this enclosure to look different and more stand out. Yeah, I was a little bit unsure when I finished the enclosure, and then I sent Kaio a few screenshots to see his reaction, and he was excited, and then I knew I didn't need to redesign the enclosure again. Okay, and then I think these lagoon decoration objects are cool, and the stone arch also here is abstract, and this is my replacement for the caves that Kaio wanted. It would be so great if you could easily recreate the caves from, for example, Jurassic World Dominion. But even with modding is it not too easy, but I know I go with my interpretation in another direction, and Kaio, please forgive me. We haven't caves here in your habitat, but we have a very interesting environment. And the white platforms are very contrasting also, and it is very strong in a contrast to the tropical map. And I know it looks strange at first, but I hope it looks good in the end in combination with the temperate rocks and the lower vegetation for upcovering and so on. And later then I created also some background areas and nesting areas and areas for resting. Also, yeah, you know. And on the front side of the enclosure it looks more lush and lively with the vegetation and the water. And we have also on the front side a viewing terrace later and a connection to the viewing dome. I put these in the center of the habitat for a better look around to the feeders and so on. And then I combine this dome with the arch, and I like this optical look with this rock arch here from the lagoon, and in combination I think it looks very interesting, so I hope so. The only thing is what I don't like is the view from this dome with the metal rod, and it blocks the view, and I don't know what Frontier was thinking about. It is cool and suitable for an area, so I think, and the flying reptiles can sit on it, and then also very close to the guest, but the view is terrible. But I think that the viewing dome is the best choice from an optical point of view to observe the Dimetrodon here. And by the way, I can recommend you the guys with the suggestions. Most of the guys have their own YouTube channel and are great content creators. In the first episode of the Community Park we have also nice and friendly creators like Jurassic and Jurassic Cannon King, and if you want, check it out, their channel. Now we have also a Unity Park project with 6 big content creators, and please also check this project out. Okay, that was a terrible sentence, sorry. I'll subscribe a link under my video and you can check this project, please, and it is very cool and I like it, and yeah. Alrighty, I think it's nice when the community plans things together, works together, and thereby comes closer. It's a wonderful game that brings people together. We love dinosaurs, we love this franchise and this game, and it's a pleasure. Also for me, with my new current project, to create this community park and implement your ideas, and sometimes I go wild with the building, I know, but it is so much fun. Alright, back to the suggestion and the habitat. As you can see, most is near finish, built, and I placed some nice trees and vegetation, and then I will put also a small group of Dimetrodon into the habitat. And so I think we have a small nice little group, and I named the alpha Kaio. Alright, and I think so far so good. I hope Kai, you're fine with this habitat, and then we can enjoy the rest of the overview and the cinematic shots from the Dimetrodon. And it was also a pleasure for me to build this for you, Kaio, and I hope you like it. And after this part, then we come to the last part of this episode, and then we hear us later. Alrighty, so here we have another small overview of the guest area in the background with a viewing terrace, and I have also made a few connections offline between the other enclosures, and I will always place a few buildings like hotels or some other amenities like a restaurant in between. I would also like to release a small intermediate episode later after a few episodes, and then so I can show you the rest of the park, what I have built in the meantime with the connections. And here we are with the last suggestion from Prehistoric PC. Now we come to the third suggestion, and I forgot to press record when I'm building this part here. Hi! But we have enough time to see the finished result. That's the happy accident. Sometimes it's really funny. You think you have pressed the record button and you think you are in record? No! And then you realize after a little bit time it isn't recorded. Never mind. That's why we're going to take our time to look at a small abandoned town. Prehistoric PC wanted a small abandoned town, as I said, with the Stegosaurus, and I found the idea very interesting, and so I experimented a little bit with lots of objects. And I also placed 2 observation galleries here on the street, so that the guest can see the dinosaurs, and I used the demolish tool for the visually effect that the building is destroyed, and I like it. Alrighty, I really enjoyed building this little town. At least there are only 2 streets, but that's enough to create the effect that everything is deserted and overgrown here. And I placed a small drinking pond, or water pond, so I can say, behind the building, so that the Stegosaurus can also walk behind the buildings. And I spontaneously decided on a small corner here in the park to build this wonderful suggestion for your enclosure here. And we are near the main entrance, and this small free area was perfect for integrating the small town here. It is still completely defined by the objects and visually hidden with the plants. And I placed also various objects such as small tables and chairs and sound lounges, and even a gas station and small front gardens. And yeah, it was a lot of fun for me. After that, then I adjusted everything further and placed more plants so that everything looks overgrown, and I think it has become a really great enclosure, and I also think such themed enclosures like this are really cool. Prehistoric PC, thank you for this creative idea, and I hope you are happy with my interpretation. And I know you wanted a worker village in your proposal, but I was tempted to place all these objects as well, like the sun lounger, looking for this suburban look with the small gardens and the tables and so on. And please forgive me, it is more suburban than a worker village, but I think it's fine. And the dinosaurs have enough space for rooming and have enough food everywhere, and it is important to me to not turn off these function for the animals, so that we can see many animations when the dinosaurs eat and drink. And I think it's good that you can turn a lot of things on and off in sandbox mode, but it's actually weird when you turn off the hunger and thirst of the animals. Don't get me wrong, it's really cool, this function, and it makes a lot of things easier for us in sandbox mode. But as I said, I'd like to do it without here in the community park, and preferred to avoid these function, to turn off this as long as possible. And I love the animations for eat and drink for the dinosaurs, and yeah, I think you can understand me with my choice. And we definitely have enough time here in the screen time part for your suggestion, and have a great look around, and we can enjoy this little cute idea here with the abandoned buildings, and the Stegosaurus is also roaming here, and have a good time. So I think here in this abandoned village and I like this dinosaur. It's also one of my top 10, and I think the combination with this dinosaur and the small town here goes really well together. And I can say thank you for this idea, and I hope you are happy with my result. And in the meantime, I have been built again and implementing some really nice suggestions from you guys, and I'm looking forward to publishing the next episode, so roundabout in 14 days. Yeah. That's suitable for me, and there will be some very interesting enclosures coming our way with Brachiosaurus, Euterianus, and so on. I can say stay tuned. I can say again at this point that I had a lot of fun, and I hope you also liked the second episode, guys. And if you want to support me, please leave a like and a comment. And if you also want to have your favorite dinosaur with a nice theme here in this park, then feel free to write me a comment. And it always take a while until I have implemented every suggestion here in this park, but hey, we have enough time, folks. We have enough time. And yeah, I repeat myself, we have enough time in the next few weeks and months with all your nice ideas and favorite dinosaurs. And who knows what is the next expansion pack will bring in May or in June. When is the release? I don't know. I'm also really excited to see what new creatures or dinosaur we will get. If they are suitable creatures, I don't know. Let's surprise what is coming. I will see if I can integrate then into my other project in the Planet Park the new dinosaurs or creatures. We wait a little bit. What is it? And is this only a megalodon, or I don't know. But I will now start a new project for the expansion. I don't want to complain. I currently have enough work in my private life with my work. No, I need money, and these two projects here are enough for me for the moment, and the community project fills me with joy, and I can really let my creativity run wild here. Yeah, so I can say it. I still have so many great suggestions, and I'm already busy building on it, but I don't want to release the episodes too fast. I think we take our time that we need. And Prehistoric PC, I hope you like this abandoned village, and folks, thank you for watching. Stay tuned and Have a good time, and we see us very soon with the next episode. And on this point, I can say bye bye and thanks for watching.